Hello guys, this is the Developer, and today we will be starting our fourth part in this CSS tutorial. And today because I want to make shorter videos, as I was telling you in the last two videos, I will be only talking about the box model, and that will include talking about the padding, margin, and the border properties for an element. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into it. So starting with the box model, we can select any element here in our HTML file. I will select this paragraph element right above our section, and I will give it an ID, and that ID can be LM for element. And after that, here, after our style to our section, I will select our LM, selecting its ID, and now I'm ready to give it some style. So now I'll be explaining the box model. So as you can see here, this is not my image, it's the image I found online. You can see that where we have our text, this text is in our paragraph, it is inside our content space. And after that, as I will be explaining after this, we can add padding, that is a area that supposedly doesn't have anything, it's just an area, empty space. But this empty space is still within our element. Then you have a border that normally has another color, and this border will be the line or the space that really separates what is inside our element and what is outside our element. And then you have the margin. The margin is obviously outside our element, and it will be also a white space. But for example, if I give our element a background color, our content and our padding space will be affected and will have this background color, but the margin and the border won't have this background color because they are already outside our element. So now let's see this better. I will start by giving our paragraph a color, and it can be white so that you can see it better. And there we have it. So this rectangle here is our content for this element. So after that, I can add the padding. The padding can have 15 pixels, and you'll see that now there will be some space here all around our paragraph, and you will see that this space will also be in white. So if I reload it, there we have it, our space around our paragraph. After that, I can have a border with the width of, for example, 3 pixels. The border color can be of red, and my border style can be of solid. And I will tell you a better way to define the border later, but for now, so you can understand it really better, you can define your border like this, and now we'll see a small line all around our element, like so. And after that, you can add the margin, and you'll see that the margin will not be in white, but will be transparent, thus being green, because it's the color of our body for this HTML page. So you'll see that all around our paragraph element, there will be a space that will be, as I said, in this color, and there it is. You can see this better by selecting your browser, then pressing Ctrl I. Yeah, like so. You can also press F12. it depends from computer to computer and from browser to browser. And now you just select this button here and press the elements you want to analyze, and now you will see that the element has this area of pixels, and then it has this area of padding with 15 pixels, then the border with 3 pixels of width, and then the margin with another 15 pixels. Like so. Now let me tell you a bit more about padding and margins. And let's say, for example, I want our text to be a little more close to the center and more far away from our sides. So with a bit of a margin, but still inside our element. And I want it to be right after and above our border on the top and the bottom. What I can do is here in padding, have first 0 pixels, and that will be for the top and the bottom, and then 15 pixels will be for the sides, the left and the right side. And now we'll see that we still have 15 pixels in our sides of padding, and on the top we don't have nothing. And finally, you can do this also with 4 values. And these 4 values are like this. First we have the top, then the right, then the bottom, then the left. So we'll see that our element will stay the same. But for example, if I add 15 pixels here, and here on the right I give it, for example, 30 pixels, you will now see 15 pixels above, 15 pixels to the left, 30 pixels to the right, and 0 pixels of padding in the bottom. You can also define these values by writing padding top, padding top, and then 15 pixels, then padding right and add the 30 pixels, then padding bottom and add 0 pixels, and finally in the padding left add the 15 pixels. And now if you delete this, you'll see that our element will stay right as it is, like so. If I come here and add 30 pixels to the bottom padding, you'll see that it will now have 30 pixels in the bottom padding. That is just to show you that you can define every single one of them separately or all together. You can also add your padding, but with a percentage. So, for example, let's say that we want our content to be occupying 50% of the width of the element, and then have a margin of 25% in the left and 25% in the right. What you can do is come here and have 0 pixels and then 25%. This will give a margin of 25%, content of 50%, and then another margin of 25%, giving the total width of 100%. So now if you reload it, there you have it. Here and here, the padding are exactly the same. So yeah, you can also use the percentage instead of length. And everything that I talked about now for the padding, with the padding of bottom, top, left and right, or with the number of values, so one value is for all the sides, 2 values for top, bottom, and then the sides, And finally, the four elements, that is for top, right, bottom, and left. All these can be used in padding as well as in margin. You can also have this number of values in margin, and they will mean the same. And you can also have the margin top, bottom, left, and right, and define then them as we defined here in the padding. So just to show you guys that you can do this, you can come here and give it, for example, 100 pixels for top and bottom, and 50 pixels for the sides. And now if you reload it, there you have it. Finally, I will be telling you how you can define the border in a lot of different ways. Let me just have here a small space so that you can see better our border individually. So if I delete this, our border will be gone. And now right here after margin, I will have our border. And as I said, you can define this in a lot faster, in a quite faster way, and that is by doing everything in the same line, but specifying only the border property. So if I reload it, there we have it, 2 pixels, solid and red. And for the border style, there are really a lot of styles. I will tell you a few ones. So for example, you besides the solid, you also have the dotted one, and you'll see that it will now be a lot of dots instead of a solid line. You can have also the dashed, and that will be with a few dashes around all around our element. Dashed. After dashed, you can have, for example, groove, and you'll see that now it is different. And finally, you can have, for example, ridge, and you'll see that it will also be different. Well, you can explore these border styles all you want, and for now, let's keep it solid and talk about the last property for today's video, and that will be the border radius. So what can you do? Here in the border radius, you can choose, for example, a length. So for example, 5 pixels, and you'll see that this radius will be focused here on the corners of our paragraph. So now you will see that our corners are now rounded because they have a radius. So here, let's for example give 50 pixels, and you'll see that it truly is round corners now. You can reach a lot of effects depending on how you give the length to this property. So for example, you have another way, and that's to do it with a percentage, and you'll see that it will now be different because it will go smooth on the top and bottom, and then on the sides it will go right down or right up. And if you give it, for example, 50%, you will see now that it takes an oval shape, like so. Well, and that's it for today. So this will be it for this video. I hope you understood everything well, and that I explained everything in the correct way. So if this video helped you or you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And that will be it from me for today. So have a nice one.